everyone and welcome. Today I'm going to be going over my April TBR. So my April TBR is going to be a little bit different because I'm actually participating in a readathon in April. I'm going to be participating in Magical Readathon, Aurelium Academy. I will leave the announcement video in the description if you're interested. But I've been participating in this readathon for a couple years now. It was the first readathon I ever participated in. I really love it. It's a lot of fun. So I definitely suggest that you check it out. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of it because there is kind of a lot that goes on here. It's not as complicated as it may seem. I was intimidated at first, but like I said, it was my first readathon and I managed it, so don't be intimidated. But a brief overview, you create your character. There are pages in a Google Drive that will help you figure all of that out. And then you pick a calling, which is like what you're going to be studying for, a degree that you're studying for. And for each calling, there is a set list of classes for each semester. And the classes will have a corresponding prompt that you use to pick your books. And how you finish all of your classes is you read the book for each prompt. And so I used these prompts, these classes, to pick my TBR for the month. And there's a ton of different callings. They all have a different amount of classes you need to take. So there's ones with only a couple that would have a shorter TBR if that's what you want, or if you want a really long TBR. There's some that have a lot. So there's really something for everyone. But my calling is Beastmaster. And Beastmaster has 5 classes, 5 prompts for the spring semester that I'm going to be completing. Which means I may end up picking a 6th book because the books I picked are on the shorter side. So I will probably squeeze in another book. But let's get started with the first class, which is Elemental Studies. And the prompt for this one was a temperature word in the title. And when I first saw that, I thought, oh, that will be no big deal. I was wrong. It took me forever to find something for this, and what I found I'm not even 100% sure will work. I might have to come up with a backup plan, but what I ended up going with is 6 Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent, and this is book 1.5 in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. And this one is shorter. It's a novella. It's 187 pages, so this feels like a good fit for a readathon. And to me, scorched is a temperature word. Like, I've heard people use it to refer to when it's really hot outside. It's scorching hot outside. I don't know, it's the best I could find. I am considering using a scroll of replacement. There's also, you get guild reputation points for different things during games that are played during the live streams that happen, or you get 50 at the end of the semester if you complete it. And I do have some points saved up, so I'm considering getting a scroll to just switch this book out to whatever I want. And that way I could have a slot to kind of mood read. I'm not sure yet. I may go with this. I may read this regardless of if I get the scroll because this is a series I want to continue. It's a short book. So I would say this is probably on the TBR regardless. And in this one, we are following Lilith, who has been dying since the day she was born. And she has come to terms with this, but her town is also withering away in the clutches of a mysterious god-cursed illness. And she takes matters into her own hands. And she is desperate to find a cure, and she strikes up a deal with a vampire. And she offers him 6 roses in exchange for 6 vials of vampire blood, which is the only hope for her town's salvation. And I really liked the first book, Serpent and the Wings of Night, so I am excited to continue this series, so I'm hoping to read this one this month regardless. Alright, the next class is Animal Studies, and the prompt for this one is wolves in the title, in the content, on the cover. And I really struggled with this one for some reason. I had originally put down Bonded by Thorns because it was the only thing I could find. I don't know if I'm going to love that book. I'm kind of nervous to read it. But then I remembered Zodiac Academy has wolves, and I am currently reading Zodiac Academy and loving it. So I'm guessing I'm going to go ahead and add the next book in that series. And I'm not sure in the reading order that I'm following which one I'm on. I'm currently reading book number 4. But in Zodiac Academy, we are following twins, Tori and Darcy. And they are long-lost princesses and heirs to the Fae Throne. And once they get to Solaria to Zodiac Academy, they realize that there are 4 celestial heirs who are already meant to take the throne. And obviously these heirs are not happy about the twins coming back to challenge them, so they start to viciously bully the twins to try to force them to leave the academy, because if the twins don't graduate, then they cannot take the throne. This is a really fun, fast, bingeable series. I'm really enjoying it, and once again, it's a series I'm continuing, so I am glad to add that to the TBR this month. And there are wolf shifters in these books. and I somehow completely forgot about that when I was searching for a book for this. All right, the next class is alchemy, and the prompt for alchemy is a reread. And I'm currently in the middle of rereading Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, so I figure I will read Ruthless Vows in April. I just finished reading Wild Reverence, which is like a prequel for this series, so I was wanting to reread it. It's one of my favorite series, if not my favorite series. And in this, we follow Iris and Roman, who are journalists during a war. And Iris's brother goes to fight for Enva, one of the gods in this war. And when she doesn't hear from him, she decides to take an offer to go to the front lines and be a reporter there. And she's been writing letters to her brother Forrest and slipping them under the door of her closet, thinking that when they disappear, they are going to him. But they're actually going to her work rival, Roman Kit. And he knows the letters are from her, but she does not know who she's sending them to. And I love this series, and I'm really excited to reread it, so I'm really glad that this was one of the prompts. The next class is Restoration, and the prompt for this one is to ask for 5 5-star books and then pick one of them. And what I ended up picking for this one is the first Dungeon Crawler Carl book, because I have heard so many people say that they love this series. I've really heard nothing but good things. I've been wanting to try it, even though it's really kind of out of my comfort zone. This is not something that I would think I would love, but it fits this prompt and I'm wanting to try it, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. All right, and the synopsis for this one says, the apocalypse will be televised. A man, his ex-girlfriend's cat, a sadistic game show unlike anything in the universe, a dungeon crawl where survival depends on killing your prey in the most entertaining way possible. And then it says, every building on Earth collapses in a heap, sinking into the ground. And the buildings and all of the people inside have all been atomized and transformed into the dungeon. And only a few dare venture inside, but once you're in, you cannot get out. And you have but days to find a staircase to the next level down. And in this game, it's not about your strength or your dexterity, it's about your followers, your views. Basically, you need to build up an audience in order to win this game. I've heard this reads kind of like a video game. I think that's fun. I think it'll be interesting and different. I'm gonna give it a shot. And then the last class is lore, and the prompt for lore is dystopia/utopia. And what I picked for this is To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast. This is one I've had on my TBR for a little while. I've heard good things. I've been liking dystopian recently, so I'm excited for this. And in this book, we are in a world where if you commit a crime, you are sentenced to life in Endlock prison. We are following Raven, who is the most notorious bounty hunter, and then her younger brother is sentenced to Endlock prison, so she gets herself imprisoned as well so she can try to help him. This sounds interesting. I've heard good things, so I'm excited to finally get to this one. So to pick a 6th and final book to add to my TBR, just based off what I want, I'm going to pick a series to continue like I've been doing the last couple months. I'm having a hard time deciding between continuing Throne of Glass or continuing Folk of the Air. Because continuing Folk of the Air, I would be on Queen of Nothing, which is technically the last book in the trilogy. I do have a little novella that comes after, but I kind of want to do that. But I also really want to continue on in Throne of Glass. I would be on Heir of Fire. I think for now, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pick Queen of Nothing. I may end up reading Heir of Fire, but I do want to finish up this trilogy. I want to continue. I want to see what ends up happening. I really, really liked book 2. So I'm going to go with Queen of Nothing. And this is the 3rd book in the Folk of the Air trilogy by Holly Black. And in the first book in this series, The Cruel Prince, we are following Jude, who is a human living in the Fey realm. And she is in the Fey realm with her sisters because her parents are gone. The Fey general, who she's living with, got rid of them. And then he took her and her sisters back to live with him and he raised them. And now we're watching Jude's journey trying to find a place to fit in among the Fey, and her struggles with being mortal and them not liking mortals, and just trying to find a place where she can be comfortable. And I really liked the first 2 books. I gave the first one 4 stars, I think, and the second one 4.5. So I'm definitely excited to continue this. But that's going to be the last book on my TBR. Let me know in the comments what you're planning to read in April. I will leave my Instagram and my Goodreads in the description if you're interested. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I hope to see you all in the next one.